Hello again, everyone. This is the weekend update for Saturday, April 14th, and we're going to take a look at the market here. Look at the S&P 500 and the high yield bond fund, several ETFs, and then I want to take a look at the snapshot of banks, the big banks that reported earnings this week. So let's start off here with the S&P. So we had a big week this week, kind of a bounce after chopping around for several weeks. We had a bounce this week. This was last Friday for 2604. We closed at 2656. A little bit of a reversal type candle here on Friday. I would have to say caution. We opened up kind of strong with the banks. A lot of the banks reporting earnings on Friday morning, first thing before the market opened. And then we just sold off most of the rest of the day. And I think there was caution because nothing had happened on Syria yet. And of course, that happened last night, Friday night. And so now the real question is, what does that mean? What does everybody think about that? We'll see how that plays out Sunday night into the first day on Monday. But right now, I've got this labeled as a potential little wave 2 pullback. Just not quite sure whether it's really stopped at this point. If this is really a 1-2, it could continue higher for a while, as long as it doesn't retrace the beginning of wave 1. I mean, that's just the way the LE wave count works. Now, the other alternate is I could put it down here, but when I looked at the two, 1 hour and 4 hour type of internals over the last several weeks, I felt like this minuet level wave 1 really completed itself here on March 23rd, on the low here on March 23rd. So anyway, this is what's playing out right now. We're staying above the 10-day moving average for several days now, 4 days in a row. We could continue to see push higher here short term in the S&P 500. High yield bond fund seems to be confirming this. You can see how we broke out of this downward trending channel. And we broke out. And when did that happen? On the 9th, which was Monday. And we got continuation all week. So it's confirming the move that we're seeing in the market. Now we're getting this little doji candle here on Friday. So it's not a reversal like what happened on the SPX, but it is a little doji type star. And we're at the top of the Keltner channel. We've come a long way. We're fighting this 55-day moving average. That's just declining fairly strongly, even more strongly than it was back here as the price tried to get above it and, just couldn't hold. So a little, cautious about that. We'll continue to watch this. And again, as HYG pulls higher, it's going to run into what the resistance that it ran into back over here. All right, so that's the high yield bond fund. Let's take a look at a couple of ETFs. The big mover for the week, one of the big movers anyway, was energy. And energy really popped this week. XLE was up 6%. You could see the big move that it had. And of course, oil is sitting here, West Texas, at $67.39 on the futures contract. So it's, fairly strong. We had a lot of congestion in here. The real question is are we going to see continuation? When I look at these moving averages, when I start seeing it like this, where the 10 exponentials going straight up, the 55 simples coming straight down, the 144 simple is kind of rising, but almost horizontal to rising. We're getting a mixed signals in terms of direction. When you see that, I find it hard to believe we're going to get a lot more movement short term, but I would expect some kind of a pullback. The other thing to look at is what kind of retracement have we had of this entire move here. And we've retraced almost a little bit over 50% of the move at this point from high. Actually, I didn't quite catch that high. Very close. There it is. From intraday high to intraday low. So that's XLE. Let's take a look at, now you would think when oil's going up, Russia would be going up also, but because of Syria, when all of that hit this week, boy, did Russia just fall out of bed. And so this RSX ETF really collapsed in here on the 9th and stayed down all week. Now, we are at an extreme, way outside the Keltner channel, so wouldn't be surprised to see a nice big bounce up on this. And we've got a huge gap here to be closed. So we'll watch and see what happens here with Russia. But I wanted to kind of show that as a contrast to what's happening in the energy ETF. Now let's take a look at the financials. Now I know we looked at these not too long ago. Look at the big move on XLF on Friday. Big bearish engulfing candle back below the 10-day moving average. But the other thing is, look at the chop that's occurring around this long-term trend line. And this is a long-term trend line. This is a 2-year bull market trend line in here, bull move, let's call it. Okay, and then you get this kind of a move on Friday in the financials. That doesn't look very bullish to me. Okay, so why are we getting this? Okay, we had Blackrock out on Thursday. We had JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and PNC Financials. I think it's PNC out first thing Friday morning. Let's take a look at those. Okay, so here's the picture of the 5 big banks that reported on Thursday, Friday. Look at the action that we got. Okay, so Blackrock was Thursday, I believe, so it tried to rally, couldn't hold it. It was up for the day, but then it tried to rally again in the beginning like all of them did with their initial out of the gate after earnings came out on Friday, and it just couldn't hold it and collapsed. Okay, and JP Morgan, very negative in terms of this. Not only did it engulf Thursday's price action, it engulfed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I mean, very negative type of action in here. And I guess the point I want to make here is everybody been talking about how, oh, wait till earnings season starts. Okay, everything will be fine. Everything will get back to normal, and it's going to start going through the roof. Well, if this is the start to earnings season, this is a little bit of a bust in my opinion, because now granted it's one day, but it's not a great start and not a great reaction across the board to all of the earnings being reported by the banks. Okay, now it's going to be really interesting as we get into this and we get into the tech sector and we get into the FANG stocks, what happens with those. So this is the picture from the big banks reporting Thursday, Friday, primarily on Friday. We'll see what happens this coming week. Okay, that's it for this video. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you could think of one person who would benefit from this video, remember to share the video with them. Get more insight, education, and trade ideas. Become an insider member. Click the image on the screen. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on the next video.